the 2010 Medical, Dental, and Teaching Mission to the Ngobe People in Chiriqui, Panama. The trip begins with loading the bus first with supplies and then our eager team. We have a few new faces added to the crowd. We are often asked just exactly where do we go in Panama, and the best way to tell you is to show you. Cieneguita is approximately an 8-hour drive north of Panama City, or 8 hours south of San Jose, Costa Rica. There are approximately 160,000 Ngobe Indians, and their land extends from the Caribbean Sea to Ciriqui, where we operate the clinic. The first several hours of the clinic are devoted to setting up, moving people and supplies, and establishing our work areas. One of the largest projects is to get the pharmacy together. Hundreds of drugs, thousands of doses have to be packaged, labeled, and organized. Necessity is the mother of invention. We found that we needed a lab table, so with an old board, a drop cloth, and some suitcases, Charles created a very nice workstation for us. It was especially humid this year. The temperature in the clinic reached over 95 degrees several times. But seeing patients is only part of what we do on these trips. This year we got to see the fruit of our latrine project. Rhett explains that with the funds donated, 43 latrines were built. Jane was eager to demonstrate the latrine. During our latrine tour, we were fortunate to see the source of many of the Ngobe's ills, their water supply. This is where they get their drinking water, wash, bathe, and become thoroughly infected with parasites. Little guy doesn't seem to mind. This is a cooking area in one of the Ngobe family clusters. And while things are tidy, they're by no means clean. The Ngobe do not have soap. They do not have chlorine. Their idea of household hygiene is much of the problem. They share their living space with livestock. While we were there, chickens were walking through the unwashed plates, picking off pieces of food and spreading heaven knows what infections. But the Ngobe do try. Here we see containers arranged to collect rainwater. They're kept off the ground to be out of reach of the animals. And we chanced upon a new baby, less than 2 weeks old. The mother was only 15, and she delivered the baby on the dirt floor. But the tour is over, and Mary's eager to get back to the clinic. And before long, we were ready to go. We were fortunate to have Dave with us, an oral surgeon. The dental care for the Ngobe has been inconsistent. It's very sad to send somebody away who's walked for hours to receive dental care. Dave took very good care of him this year. This little one suffering from bronchitis. Here's Barry examining an infant. Dehydration among the little ones is a significant problem. Once a child becomes dehydrated, it's very hard to get them back with the breast milk alone. So we took along some nurses and showed the moms how to use them. Every man, woman, and child is treated for parasites. Here's Janet administering a dose, but I'm not sure the Ngobe woman truly understood how to chew the pill. In addition to parasite medication, everybody gets 60-day supply of vitamins along with Tylenol and ibuprofen. This woman came in complaining of heart trouble. I did a careful exam and I could find nothing wrong. When I told her this, she became quite distressed and said that she had been to a doctor, said her heart was having difficulty. It turns out that she had been to a native doctor, a curandero, a type of witch doctor. To not add to her frustration, I explained to her that the curandero works with the heart as far as the spirit is concerned, where we work with the heart as the muscle. Marcos was able to counsel her. It was obvious that this woman was severely depressed and had been for some time, which is why she went to the curanderos to begin with. Beyond Marcos's counseling, we had nothing to offer her. And to be a fully vested curandero, one must have been bitten by a viper. And although we've never been bitten by vipers, we were able to do some work. Here's a wart removal. using a electrocautery. A woman broke a sewing needle off in her finger. We were not able to get it out. Here we are closing the repair after the attempt. And this little fellow shoved a bean up his nose. And there's the bean to prove it. Another important part of our ministry is the children's program. Tara, Ron, and Bron lead the kids through a variety of games and activities, teach them some basic Bible stories, along with some age-appropriate health information. And here's Bron with a group of young ones. For several years now, Jane has headed the Health Promoters Program. Ngobe from several of the villages in the area take a series of classes and upon graduation receive a certificate. Here's Linda teaching a class showing the spread of parasites, and Kay is helping out. We could do nothing without our local volunteers. Marilyn and Raphael helped in many ways around the clinic. Javier, Joshua, Kathy was my translator. Pablo served as our Ngobe translator. Many of the folks coming in from the mountains speak no Spanish. Juan and Miguel joined our trip this year, coming to us from Texas, where they are part of a ministry to the poor. They wanted to see how our programs operated. And Patricia came to us from UMCOR. You never know what you're going to run into in Panama. Here's Charles talking to a pig. These trucks act as carpools, hauling workers to and from the fields. And the days are hard, leaving Javier exhausted. Of course, good nutrition is vital, and here's Rich making sure that Jane is well nourished. It was especially wet this year for the dry season, adding to the humidity. It was well over 95 degrees in the clinic several days. Officially speaking, we're not supposed to bring toys for the children, but somebody consistently smuggles them in. We're not sure who's responsible for that. And we do run into cases that we simply cannot diagnose. The lens in this man's eye turned totally opaque, and it did not appear to be a cataract. Here's his normal eye for comparison. We learned on this trip that there simply are no eye clinics available to the Ngobe. There was nothing we could do for him. Here's a 4-year-old with chronic sore on his ear that has not healed over several years. We believe this is a disease called leishmaniasis, which is endemic to the area. We had medications for treatment for this. Left to its own, it could eventually leave serious scarring or even take the ear. We can see that we are making a difference in our trips. Patients, the Ngobe in general, seem stronger and better. We saw many, many more men this year. The Ngobe are coming to know and trust us. But some things never change. The bridge that collapsed 3 years ago is still collapsed. There are efforts underway to have it rebuilt, but there's no way of knowing when that will happen. A new dental clinic is under construction. This will provide a safe, clean area for dental equipment to be stored and used. They're still cooking lunch the old-fashioned way, although I think that's a new lid this year. Rich tried to convince me that there's a difference between rice and beans and rice, but I don't believe him. I couldn't tell the difference. We received a lot of rain for the dry season. Here the rainwater is being captured, and we use this to flush the toilets. The clinic does not have running water. And here's a view from the parking lot. The skinny dogs were there again this year. They seemed a little less distressed. And you never know what you'll see running down the road. Here's a load of pineapples. When trekking through the Panamanian forest, be careful what you grab a hold of to steady yourself. Sometimes people ask, why do we go to Panama? There's a tremendous amount of need here in the United States. I'm not sure there's a good answer for that, but I can say that the people there have much less, and their need is certainly more dire. Or maybe this little guy demonstrates a better answer. This is Samuel, a 3-year-old I treated in Nicaragua. His mom brought him in for bronchitis, and no one had realized that he had a significant hydrocephalus. What was amazing is that he was developmentally normal. His brain had not been damaged by the increased fluid, and that's because his soft spot in the top of his skull had not closed yet. It was in process of closing when I examined him. If he had not received intervention at this point in his life, he would have been certainly mentally retarded, maybe in as little as another year. Of the many needs around the world. Samuel shows the wisdom of going where the Lord sends us. It was another great trip, another opportunity to serve, and we're already making plans for next year. Thank you very much, and God bless.